12:01 in Edmonton. Good afternoon. Hope you're doing well out there. Tom Gazzola, Reed Wilkins with you here on the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. We're getting closer to April, which means playoff hockey, which means lots of fun, maybe no snow. I don't know, but around here we keep getting more and more snow. Although I saw Clausen's forecast and it should be getting better around the Big E. Of course, you could join the conversation. Text us, 780-218-9999. Hop into the nasty chat as well. Let us know your thoughts coming out of the weekend. Lots to talk to about oil country, in and around oil country as always, and a lot of encouraging things lately. Positivity, which is nice. Very nice to see when it comes to the Edmonton Oilers. So, Friedrich, how was your weekend?
Good to see you, Jerry.
Can you give me the board? What did you do this weekend, even though you called me Jerry?
Very little. I covered the game.
I saw you there.
Yesterday I went to Ready or Not, Here I Come. Ready or Not 2, Here I Come.
Okay.
Little slasher comedy film. Quite enjoyable. Some mindless entertainment.
You were telling me you were excited to see this film.
Yeah, it was fun.
Okay.
I mean, you have to like that type of movie. If you don't find...
it's a campy slasher film.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. Yeah, it's okay. It's over the top.
Okay.
The first one came out, I think, 6 or 7 years ago. It was fun. This one was fun.
Okay.
Took my dad. He enjoyed it.
Bob enjoyed it.
Saw bits and pieces of various sporting events. The Connecticut shot against Duke.
That was crazy.
That was an amazing shot. Can't remember. I watched some of the basketball Saturday. What else was I watching?
I found myself watching baseball this weekend.
Oh, yeah. Well,
outside of hockey.
Blue Jays mostly I saw on Friday. Saturday, Saturday they were on while I was at the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yesterday, I sort of had it on, but I wasn't really sitting and watching it. I was sort of almost more listening to it. But yeah, 3-0 start for them. That's awesome.
That's good for them. Rogers Center looked packed.
A lot of excitement around the Blue Jays.
There should be. As a casual observer of the Blue Jays and nothing more, it is nice to have baseball back in general. I think I was watching a Brewers game at one point for whatever reason. I was just channel surfing. I'm like, I'm just going to leave it on here. And can't really remember who they were even playing against. But it's, to me, I watched some golf yesterday too. Golf and baseball are the perfect background sports just to have on. When you don't have to focus in. Like for hockey, I'm always focused in on the game I'm watching. Obviously with the Oilers, covering them day to day, dialed in and expending energy on it. Baseball and golf, just let it be in the back. F1, I get dialed into. I missed the race this week. I just saw the podium.
Yeah, I don't really watch F1. I saw the movie, which was good. I know we have some people here who really follow it. The baseball, yeah, it's more of a background thing. Having said that, during the regular season, I'm probably only watching the Blue Jays. In the playoffs, I might watch other games. Mm-hmm. But during the regular season, I'll watch the Blue Jays or have the Blue Jays on.
Okay.
I'm not that, And then once you get into the summer, once hockey's over, I am sort of, I don't just want to sit in front of the TV the whole time.
No, you want to do stuff.
I love sports. I love watching sports. I love watching sports. But sometimes in the summer, you get a chance. I mean, when the Oilers are playing, it's like, well, no, I don't plan anything else. I mean, that's
your day right
watch
there.
The games, right? So, am I going to watch every Blue Jays game? No. I'll certainly follow them and watch highlights and all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. Non-Blue Jays baseball probably wouldn't get pulled into it till the playoffs. Golf, I love watching the majors. I might have it on in the background, but there's a point if it's a major, I'll sit and watch.
Yeah.
What's happening?
Nothing. I'm just listening to you.
Well, thanks for listening.
I'll also watch a major.
Yeah, the Masters is in a couple weeks.
That's right, it is.
Pretty good.
Deskra via the Nasty Chat says, Blue Jays, a.k.a. Canada's team.
That is a hell of a thing for you to say to me.
Well, they kind of are, aren't they?
No. They're Toronto's team that's admired very much by Canada.
They have people travel.
They certainly
Evan
do.
Dom went to see the games this weekend.
I know. My friend Brad Shochu also went to see them.
Right. So if you're a national tourist attraction, aren't you Canada's team?
No. I mean,
I think I'm coming around on that they're Canada's team.
Are the Raptors Canada's team?
Nope.
Why are the Blue Jays?
I think baseball, well, I don't know which would be more popular, actually. The Blue Jays are really good right now.
I'll tell you what, I'm much more fond of the Edmonton Riverhawks than the Toronto Blue Jays.
You can't compare the emotional reaction that you would.
My emotional reaction to the Riverhawks is more profound than that for the Blue Jays.
Really?
I would watch if there's like, you know how we get Detroit, Chicago, Washington, or like Seattle stations?
Right.
If there's like a Cubs game on, I'll watch that over if a Jays game's on.
Okay.
Because it's Toronto's team that's admired by Canada.
I just don't know how you can compare the Riverhawks to the Blue Jays.
Because as a baseball team, regardless of league, I would much rather watch Riverhawks and be more heavily invested in them than the Toronto Blue Jays.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying a major league team is different than a collegiate summer league, which granted did very well, and weren't they in the North Final last year?
But they're my team.
Yeah. So you wish there was like a call-in show after the game for the Riverhawks so you could break down the managerial decisions and how the pitching was used?
Maybe.
Okay.
Project Dumplings makes a great point. We just witnessed Canada's team at the World Baseball Classic. Team Canada is Canada's team.
Or does he mean the Olympic hockey team?
I think Project Dumplings is referencing the World Baseball Classic team that made it into the elimination round for the first time.
Okay.
Which was great. Smith, TM14. I agree with Tommy. Thank you.
I'm just saying it feels like there's a bit of a... Now, I should say this too. I sort of drifted away from baseball a little bit, especially once I got the Oilers hosting job.
Yes, that's natural.
Because you're so immersed in that.
Yes.
You know, and then like I said, in the summer you get time off, and you know, so you don't want to just sit and watch all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But I got pulled into the Blue Jays last season.
That was a great playoff run.
Right, an incredible playoff run.
I was entertained by it night in, night out.
So I'm just wondering. Now I know there are a lot of Blue Jays fans out there who have been following the team closely for a long, long time. But I'm wondering if there is a legitimate resurgence with them.
I think there will
with
be.
Maybe the casual fan, because they didn't just finish 500 or make the first round and lose. Like, they made it to the World Series, and it was incredible how they did it.
They did a great
beating the Yankees. Thrilling series against the Mariners, and like a thrilling World Series, even though
Absolutely.
it turned out. And now most of the team is back too. So
yep,
there's legitimate excitement.
Yeah, they look good.
Yeah.
3-0. You can choose to like whatever team you want.
Oh yeah, of course. I just wonder if now there is a legit conversation to be had that the Blue Jays are Canada's team.
No.
Okay.
There are no more Canada's team than the Saskatchewan Roughriders. So
you're saying it's the Maple Leafs then? No, fair comment. I'm just putting words in your mouth.
I know. All right. There's been a lot of good text going in.
Leafs Ducks tonight.
Leafs Ducks tonight. George Peros in the building. We'll get to a smattering of things in and around the National Hockey League on top of the Oilers here on the Oil Stream with Gazzola and Wilkins. Text us 780-218-9999 as we go over a potpourri of things. This text says, Reed, the F1 movie is terrible. My cousin who works for Williams says Grand Prix is the only great, quote unquote, realistic racing movie. I want to see F1.
Yeah, I'll say this. I mean, look, I love talking about movies. So if someone likes something I didn't like, or vice versa, I'm fine with that. I like hearing opinions about movies.
Mm-hmm.
Here's why I liked F1.
Tell me.
I thought it was very technically well done. I thought the racing scenes looked very good.
Yeah.
I did think it was too long. I think it could have been just 2 hours instead of 2 hours and 20 or 25 minutes. But there's still as much, like, I like all types of movies. Like, I love, a drama or a well-written, witty or quirky thing with ideas.
Sincerely do.
But I also appreciate a fun popcorn movie is also an art form in and of itself.
Yes.
And I loved how F1 just established everything in the first 5 or 10 minutes. Like, here's Pitt's character. He's down and out. Here's his former friend. Here's some snappy dialogue. Here's him getting pulled into the racing world. Like, that's still good writing. Like, it's not maybe, writing like some of the dialogue. Like, I don't know why I thought of this film like a Marriage Story, where Kylo Ren and Scarlett Johansson have like this hugely emotional fight, and it's back and forth and bringing all these issues in their marriage and their relationship. And
Kylo Ren and Scarlett Johansson,
Adam Driver.
Yeah, okay.
But this is like clever. Like, there's no dialogue scene in F1 that's more than 40 seconds, but it still keeps the story going. It still gives you enough about the characters.
Yeah,
you're not there for deep character development or to see. It's not. See De Niro get into Jake LaMotta skin in Raging Bull. It's Pitt being a movie star. It's fast cars. It's
cameos from the race.
It's good effects. Drivers. So, do I think F1's the greatest movie ever made? No. Would I watch it again? No. But I think it's a good, entertaining movie that if you're in the mood for that, yes. If someone didn't like it, that's cool. But I'm just telling you why I personally liked it and thought, hey, you know what? I'm glad I watched it.
Well, I'm looking for. I want to see it, and I'm disappointed in myself for not seeing it in theater, and I would like to see it. So
you knew who I meant when I said Kylo Ren, though.
I was wondering if you're doing some kind of Scarlett Johansson, maybe Star Wars meets Avengers type of thing, or you're just being clever. But yes,
Marriage Story.
Marriage Story.
Okay, yeah,
that's a movie I've skipped. The Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. We're going to be back on location at BP's 170th with Tony, Curtis, and the crew on April 11th. Of course, lots of promos. Their lunch menu for right now, if you're hungry, you're like, man, I want to hit that lunch menu. They got $15 items. My favorite lately is, I had some Bandera bread recently. I had some spicy pierogi pizza. Rip City Step had spicy pierogi pizza the other day at BP Clareview. Anytime there's like a 7 cheese involved, I love it. My Meteor pizza is a go-to. We had that last week when we called Tony and said, we need something for the boys in studio for the pre- and post-game show, which we had, which was awesome. And then they have great game day specials. If you're going to watch the game somewhere tomorrow and it's not at Rogers Place, you don't want to watch at home, you want to go to a BP, $5 off medium pizzas, and then $1 off tankards of Molson and Coors Schooners, or Steins, as they like to say. At other locations, they're called Schooners. At BP, it's Steins.
Doesn't somebody have tankers? Is that all the same thing?
They're all the same thing.
So they're like
the
bigger mugs, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
That's amazing.
Okay, the Oilers get a big win over the Anaheim Ducks. They have a winning streak for the second time this season. Amazing. They're playing better hockey. It looks encouraging going into this week. Can they extend it to a season-long 4-game winning streak, potentially 5 by Thursday against a weaker Chicago Blackhawks club? What stood out to you on Saturday against the Anaheim Ducks?
Just that I think they seemed more patient to me.
Yes.
And then I've called them an impatient team at times this season, where they're just chasing the puck around and then trying to make risky plays, like just so desperate to score now. Like they sort of, I felt as if they just settled into that game and sort of recognized, okay, we got 60 minutes. I mean, was like Todd McClellan had a lot of great lines when he was here about how ways to look at things.
Yes.
And he said he was trying to teach them at that time, like, you have 60 minutes to win the game. Some days you might have 65. Some days you might have a penalty shot competition after that.
Yes.
Like, don't give it away. If you got a chance to make a play, make it. But he was basically saying, don't try to force something that isn't there. Don't be the team that makes a mistake.
Right.
Let the other team make the mistakes, or wait until you have an opportunity to strike. And I felt that against Anaheim. And I really thought that it wasn't close. I mean, they dominated the second period. They had a pretty good first period.
They were in Anaheim's zone in the majority of the game, it felt like.
I mean, look, the score is the score, but in some ways I feel as if it flattered the Ducks a little bit. I mean, when it was 3-0, it could have been 5 or 6. Credit to the Ducks for rallying. I get some people, well, why'd the Ducks make it close then? Well, it's an NHL game. I mean, they're good.
And they've done that a lot this year.
Let me, I mean, we all do it. I do it. But for this one, I wouldn't critique victory too much. Mm-hmm. Let's flip this around. If the Oilers trailed 3-0 halfway through the third period and lost 4-2 with an empty netter, I don't think fans would be praising that effort.
No.
They'd be saying, like, what took them so long?
Right.
So, yes, good for Anaheim to score, but I just thought the Oilers did a good job. The PK was solid, and they're getting, again, and this is going to be a discussion point that Jay and I have this afternoon. We're going to use Connor Ingram's season as a jumping off point for other historical moments for the Oilers. It'll be a bit of a fun topic.
I'm looking forward to it.
He just solid goaltending. Just making the saves he should make. Making
NHL goaltending.
Is this solid NHL goaltending?
Yes.
And what was some of the discussions, with Skinner's ups and downs, and then certainly with Jarry, just even if the Oilers just had average goaltending, well, I would say Ingram's basically been average, a little above average. I know his save percentage I think is .893, but
he's won over the fan base, I would say.
And some of the saves he makes, I know, and I hate to always compare him to Skinner, but I think it's still somewhat relevant. So Skinner's lateral movement got criticized.
All the time.
Jarry's is worse.
He's too much.
Jarry goes too far.
He goes too much.
Skinner didn't get there. Jarry makes a save, and then he's out of the net.
Right.
Like Ingram just gets there, squares up, puck hits him.
Yep.
He doesn't let in leaky ones. Like stuff's not going in under the arm. He's not generally beat up over the shoulder. Like he catches a lot of pucks. He blockers away a lot of pucks. And then one of the frustrating things I found with Stu specifically was how many point shots and tips he got beat on and screens. Mm-hmm. When he's a big guy and they'd still get through. I mean, you see Ingram, like he's down in the V. Like a couple shots just hit his low down on his pads because he's down there and he's big.
Right.
And you could kind of see he didn't see them, but he's in a position where the puck hits him. Like it's not.
That's the technical side of goaltending, and he's.
I mean, it's hard to think of it last time a goal beat Ingram where you might have been saying like, "Oh, really? That went in."
Well, the Seneca goal was a great tip.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That's the thing. Like
tip.
he usually gets beat on a tip. I mean, wasn't he the goalie where it was almost a high stick? If was it a San Jose goal? I can't remember. Like there was this almost over the crossbar and it tipped him and went in. And then the backdoor pass. Okay, it worked. He didn't quite pick it up. But then after that,
Ekholm didn't have his stick either.
And then after that, there's really nothing. And look, I know Anaheim was rallying and it was 3-2, but I never felt as if it's getting away from them, like they're going to lose 6-3 now.
Right.
They're Anaheim's going to get 2 more and an empty netter, and then Connor will play the final 8 minutes, and they'll still lose. It just felt like a little more under control. And it gets hairy and they make a push, but I didn't feel as if the Oilers were running around or panicking, and I think you would get that sentiment from the bench that it was a pretty calm bench.
Yeah.
So I think the impact of Ingram, I think the impact of Dickinson and Murphy.
Man, he's helped Nurse a lot. Yeah.
Big time. And then I also think, I know I'm kind of going over a lot of things
I like
here,
this.
John. I know you want to dive into
this is a
some
smattering
specifically, but I got to say it, like, it's promising with Szymanski. Now, playoffs might be a different story, but now you think, okay, maybe there's a depth player there.
Yes.
In the years moving forward. Frederick and Doc skated today.
Good.
I think Szymanski stays in.
I would look at Max Jones, maybe even Adam Henrique, but they're not going to take him out. I think there are a couple of guys Szymanski has been outperforming. Now, maybe due to seniority, experience, he might end up being the odd man out, which is unfortunate, but I'm with you, Reed. I've been very encouraged by him. Also, an example of how the Oilers are going to have to get creative when they trade all these picks away for players, right? Like they have, in using the scouts, finding players that don't have contracts, like the defenseman that they got from the Czech Republic, and some of these guys are going to have to hit. And they've done that. Quinn Hudson's been excellent in his first year as a pro.
Yeah,
we've seen him a little bit up here.
NHLer? I don't know yet.
We'll see, and then obviously we'll see how Ike Howard develops. It worked for Matt Savoie. Very, very encouraging. Matt Savoie is an asset. He is a threat offensively every night. He's got this nice stretch going here, and there was some patience with him last year, and maybe you're going to need to do that. But Szymanski, they go out, and he was the lesser known, quote unquote, of the two when they announced him and David Tomaszek. We all know how that worked out. Szymanski's the guy that's got the longer potential. So we'll see how this goes. but certainly encouraging. And then really quickly I know we didn't really talk about it last Friday on the Oil Stream about the kid that they signed. The D-man that they signed is Tomáš Cibulka. They signed to a 2-year entry-level contract. He's 6 feet tall, 176 pounds, so maybe a little bit undersized, Past 2 seasons with HC Motor Český Budějovice in Czechia's top league. He's got 42 points, 13 goals, 29 assists, and 57 penalty minutes over 90 games to go along with 10 points, a goal, and 9 assists in 13 postseason games for the club. So he was signed, and then I got a little scouting report on him. He was recommended, a Euro recommendation. Seems like they'll bring him a guy or two over like this every year under this regime. Smart D-man who overcomes his size with his smarts. So that's a bit of a scouting report on Tomáš Cibulka.
Yeah, we'll see. Colin says, check the stats on Skinner as an Oiler this year and Ingram as an Oiler.
Very similar.
Almost exactly the same. He gives some of the numbers. Look, I always say we got to stop talking about Stuart Skinner, and then I wind up
came up on Saturday.
I wind up doing it. But look, a couple things. I really wanted Skinner to succeed. And when he had a good game, I always said he had a good game because let's face it, there were a lot of people that would never even recognize when he had a good game.
Correct.
The problem with him as an Oiler was his low end was too low.
Correct.
Quality starts, I've started looking at this stat. So basically the same number.
That's over at Hockey Reference.
Yeah.
Great resource.
Ingram with 14, Stuart Skinner with 10 as an Oiler. And Bowman kind of referenced this the day of the trade. It was, I think he sensed what it was like in the market.
Yeah.
Probably in the dressing room too. Not that I'm not saying guys were picking on Skinner, but maybe just the sense that the confidence wasn't there. So, I mean, look, we know that's part of this. The stats are one thing for sure. I totally get what Colin is saying, and maybe he's kind of agreeing with us in a way, but it was they needed. He felt it was time for a change, right? And Stu's high end was not a problem. Stu's low end, or the days you didn't know if it was going to be a low end day, that was the problem. I mean, he didn't get 3 shutouts in 4 playoff games or whatever it was by accident. I mean, he deserves credit for that.
He wasn't a guy that would trend in the right direction. It would be very erratic game to game, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, I mean, yeah, that'll be all forever debated, especially if Skinner has a good career with Pittsburgh. He's probably going to get playoff games there. But Ingram is the goalie right now and is, quite frankly, I think one of the most positive Oilers stories in the last few years, if you look at his personal journey and his career journey.
Well, Haji's asking, is Ingram the Oilers nominee for the Masterton this year? I think that would be a pretty easy yes.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, who else would it even be? I don't even know.
I think it's a very obvious yes. Now, every team has a nominee for the Masterton.
Right, it's different than other wars, and it's done by the local chapter of the Professional Hockey Writers.
That's right.
So I don't even know who that would be. Spec, Jim,
Maddie,
Titch. Would Maddie still do it?
Titch
actually
would be it. I think Maddie's still PW.
Derek, does Derek still do it?
Derek's not because he's NHL.com.
So
he used to
maybe
be.
It's just Spec by himself.
Maybe Sandor.
Oh, maybe.
Maybe Steve.
I mean, I can't even think who else it would be. I mean, Henrique, I doubt it. Lazar, I doubt it.
Yeah.
I mean, those in a typical year, guys like that might be, but I think it has to be Ingram this year.
Connor Ingram won it in 2024.
Oh yeah, he's already won it. That's right.
Can you be a multi?
I forgot he'd
time
already
winner.
I forgot he'd already won it.
Yeah.
Well, I don't see why you couldn't be. Because what is it? Perseverance, dedication, and sportsmanship?
Yeah, and basically it's a comeback story. Listen, he might not win it, but you can be nominated again.
Team nominee. Yeah, you can be the team nominee again.
Exactly. Who else on the Oilers?
Think.
Right? Like, doesn't because you've won it doesn't mean you can't be nominated again.
Well, wasn't Pickard the nominee last year? Or was that the year before? I think he was last year. Has an Oiler ever won it?
No. I'm looking at the list of winners.
So who are the last 5 winners? See if I can remember.
Monahan, Ingram, Letang, Price, and Lindblom. Bobby Ryan in 2020.
It was Pickard last year. Google tells me it was Desharnais the year before. I don't even know if there'd be a team list.
Yeah, and a lot of times, like it's perseverance, overcoming something,
or an older player. It's almost like a lifetime.
Yeah,
like that's why I threw out the name Henrique, just kind of
right.
Like, hey, you've been playing a hell of a long time.
All year.
He was hurt this year, but
yeah, he can be nominated again.
Oh, for sure he can.
It's the Masterton kind of and the King Clancy. Every team has a nominee. And then they whittle it down, I believe. Don't they have a King Clancy? Doesn't every team have a nominee?
Oh, that's the community.
Yeah.
League nurse is usually up for that one.
Right.
Derek Ryan in 2023.
Ethan Morrow won it as an Oiler way back in the day.
I don't know how to find
Henrik Sedin won it in 16 and 18.
The King Clancy or the Masterton?
King Clancy.
Okay.
Doug Waite won it in 2011. So I think of the Masterton and the King Clancy because they're a little bit different.
They are, yes.
Outside of like the straight up best defenseman, best forward, best rookie, best goalie, like there's a little nuance to them. So
yeah,
I think Ingram would have to be the nominee.
Mex says the stat that differs between Ingram and Skinner is high danger save percentage, 813 Ingram, 772 Skinner. Riding the Pine says everyone does better once they leave. Well, look, that's a misconception.
Did you see Victor Arvidsson, the shootout winner yesterday?
Well, true, but that is also a misconception.
Yeah,
Jeff Skinner didn't even last the full season with San Jose.
That's true.
I mean, Alex Chason, no,
yeah.
I mean, it's that's a bit of a right. Like to ride in the Pine, I'll say yes. There are examples.
There's a lot of
But some players have come to the Oilers and done better than they've done at any other time in their career.
Zach Hyman.
Cam Talbot.
At
first.
Yeah. Patrick Maroon became a more household name in the NHL because of his time in Edmonton.
Right. So there are other fan bases that say, oh, that guy sucked with us, and now look what he's doing with the Oilers. Like, to be fair. Now, I know probably in the decade of darkness, there were more stories like that than not for Edmonton, but I think it's I think it's a little overly negative to say every player that leaves the Oilers for another team becomes a star or does better on the other team. It's simply not true.
No, it has happened, but it happens with other guys too. Timber Woodsman does make a good point in regard to the Masterton. Hyman, wrist injury, scores 30. He's almost a point a game guy. He's got 50 points in 55 games.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
That's a good one. I mean, I don't know if it ends up if it makes him a finalist or whatever, but that would be a good nominee as well.
Adam Larson, a past Masterton nominee.
Yeah. Library Pat says Pod Colson better as an Oiler. Not even close. Yeah, that's a great point.
Haji. Oh, yeah, think about that. Think about what Canucks fans are saying.
Yeah, what did they get for him? A third rounder? Fourth rounder?
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
Why did they? So, I mean, it happens. I get it. When the Oilers were bad, it probably happened too much, but I don't think it does happen now. But I don't think it's fair to say it's everybody.
No. Raj says, speaking of Skinner, why did Jeff Skinner have such a hard time staying on a team?
Okay, here's the reason. Who's that? Raj. Okay, I'm going to say something very harsh. Okay, but people know this, but I think we should just blatantly point it out.
Okay.
Some people play getting points, and some people play hockey. Okay, Jeff Skinner plays getting points. Vasily Podkolzin plays hockey.
That's a great way to put it.
Jeff Skinner might have even had more points than Podkolzin this year.
No.
Till he got released.
How many points did he have?
I think he was still getting points.
I don't want to believe it, but I'll take a look.
Well, he only had 13. He had 13 and 32. Okay, so he was a little over 13 and 32. So that's about a point every 2.5 games.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Podkolzin has what, 30 points this year?
Podkolzin has
18 goals, like 11 assists, I think.
So Podkolzin has 33 points in 74 games. That's a little better than a point every 2.5 games.
Yeah.
Points per game actually is only a slight advantage to Podkolzin. Why is Podkolzin celebrated? Why does Jeff Skinner, he basically got fired by the San Jose Sharks?
Yes.
For lack of a better term.
Pretty much.
So that's
team.
why, there's like Skinner's a very good offensive talent. And do you remember that comment Knobloch made last year when he said, you have to look at what players are getting points when the game is on the line and who's getting points in garbage time. And I believe Jeff Skinner had 2, maybe 3 goals, like in the final 5 minutes of games where the Oilers were being blown out or they were blowing out the other team. I'm serious, guys. Knobloch said that.
Yes. I'm reading the chat. I'm not laughing at your comment.
So I'm just saying that's why Jeff Skinner always gets a contract, because teams will look at him and be like,
points.
God, we need a guy who can just go out there and snipe goals.
Mm-hmm.
And then when you have him, it's like, God, we need somebody who can go out there and
be clutch,
turn the tide of a game, where we can trust in a whole bunch of different situations.
Brenda says he got fired from Buffalo too. He did. He was getting paid by the Oilers. He got bought out by Buffalo, and that was a big contract.
That's right.
Like, he lasted a long time in Carolina. He lasted a long time in Buffalo. Ends up here after the buyout, like Brenda alluded to. I think he kind of rallied late in the season and put up some points. He did all right when he was in games in the playoffs.
He scored in that when they jumped in front of Dallas 3-0.
Yeah, exactly. But to Reed's point, it is a tell that the San Jose Sharks, who are a mediocre team, basically punted him. Said thanks, but no thanks. Last year people would give me grief because I would say this. Like, they'd be like, oh, we feel bad for Jeff Skinner. He's not playing every game and he's a healthy scratch. What, you got to feel bad for him. And I'm like, we would see him, Reed, at the rink, and he was always smiling. He was always in a good mood. And I made the joke, but there's some truth to it. I would be very happy-go-lucky if I was getting paid millions of dollars to not play for a franchise, and then a bunch of money as well to currently play for a franchise where they don't want me playing every game and my body's not getting beat up, and I've already got $100 million in the bank that I've made.
Yeah, his career earnings are
He's
large.
done very well for him. He's going to live a very happy life.
I don't mean to crap on the guy, but that's why.
You said it.
Wasn't it? Correct me if I'm wrong, or somebody will correct me if I'm misremembering. Wasn't it like Alexander Semin? Like, didn't he have like 80, 90-point seasons? But it was always like the coaches were frustrated.
Hollow points.
And then one year he just was like out of the NHL.
Yeah.
Like, nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
I don't know if there were personality issues there or something too. But
probably. So, yeah, that's a great point.
Yeah. But Arvidsson's whenever I see Boston play, it looks like, oh, wow, Arvidsson's really making an impact.
Watching that shootout yesterday, I was like, oh, how about that? Look at Victor. He's doing it. All right, text us 780-218-9999. It is the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. Tom Gazzola and Reed Wilkins with you. You can hop into the Nasty Chat if you're watching over on YouTube as well. The Oilers practicing today, back in action tomorrow against the Seattle Kraken. I'm just going to see. I've stayed off of social media today, so what's the latest here? I know Colton Dock skated, so that's good. Curtis Lazar made his return. That was good. And you've got Trent Frederick, who's back on the ice. And he was taking some reps, as Tony Barr put it, with Dickinson and Henrique's lines. So an indicator that he's close, but not going to be back. Your lines from today, thank you, Tony, for these. McDavid between Podkolzin and Savoie. Nugent-Hopkins between Hyman and Roslovic. Dickinson centering Szymanski and Kapanen. As you heard earlier, Frederick was skating a bit on that line. Henrique with Jones and Lazar. Frederick also skating on that line a little bit. Doc did skate. That's good. On defense, Ekholm with Bouchard. Nurse with Murphy. Wallman with Emberson. And then Spencer Stasny is your extra. Okay, last week I would say was very satisfying. The Oilers go 3-0.
Yeah, very much.
Good wins. And important wins as well. The Anaheim one was the best one. That's the one you give the chef's kiss to.
Yep.
You look at this week, it starts with Seattle to close out the month of March. I think that should be a game the Oilers can win.
Yep. Huge game for Seattle.
They're looking to stay alive.
2 points out of the playoffs, 2 games in hand
exactly.
on the Predators.
So you're going to be getting a very ornery Seattle team looking to stay alive, fighting for their lives, if you will. Then you get the Blackhawks. That should be a win. And then the Golden Knights, a team that just replaced its coach.
Oh, that's interesting.
John Stevens ran practice today for the Golden Knights.
Torts wasn't even there?
Not Tortorella. And that's another interesting
doing
thing,
some paperwork?
too. Maybe doing some paperwork. Who knows? Or maybe taking his time to get to Vegas. I don't know. But Tortorella gets named the head coach of the Golden Knights. Bruce Cassidy fired yesterday.
Yeah.
Huge news. 8 games remaining. Not only that, but you have John Stevens, former head coach, and Dominic Ducharme, former head coach, on the bench, and they go and they get Tortorella. I'm looking at the Golden Knights, and I'm thinking they are toast. What'd you think of that move?
I actually don't think they are toast. They're looking for a bounce.
Yeah.
They're looking for a surge. And Kelly McCrimmon is, as a GM, he's thinking, well, I've made good moves. I got good players. I went and got Mitch Marner to help the offense, and I went and got Rasmus Anderson and whatever other things they did.
Mm-hmm.
So he's obviously thinking, okay, I think I did a good job. Why is the coach not getting more out of these players? So, look, Tom, I feel like with Tortorella, there's going to be no middle ground.
Of course
not. They're going to go 2-6 the rest of the way and get swept in the first round, or they're going to come to life. He's an interesting figure, right? Because I personally over the years got a little tired of the act. One day he's wants to be the intellectual poet in his media scrums, and the next day he's yelling at somebody or complaining, or he's all sour.
Yeah.
I know he's got some interesting stories, I think for me, a dog lover, doesn't he?
I respect that.
I respect that.
One of the few things about him I do.
We have seen him. It's been a while, but he was a TSN panelist for a while.
Yep.
And
ESPN as well.
I heard from On, right? Incredibly nice guy, but yet he's the first one to yell at the media or go at it with Larry Brooks.
Then I guess I don't like his act.
Right.
If he's a good person, I've never met him. I don't care to talk to him.
I was almost surprised he ever coached again when he tried to fight the Calgary Flames during the intermission.
That was amazing.
What a bizarre 1970s East Coast League type of move.
Yes.
But his teams do play a certain way. Stoff always used to call it, probably still does, dive on the grenade hockey. So that's what they're looking for him. Okay, guys, what are we doing? Now, it could help the Golden Knights. It
maybe.
Could, if it makes them 5 or 10% better for a short period of time, maybe it helps them.
Right.
Maybe it makes them tougher for the Oilers in the first round. That's the matchup. So he might help the spirit and swagger of that team, Tom. He very well might. Or players are going to be like, who is this guy? Leave us alone.
That's the way I think. But we'll see how you usually get the new coach bump. Listen, they play Vancouver tonight. All right, so they should. Yeah. That should be an easy 2 points. Let's not even begin to kid ourselves.
Now, if he does help, here's my question, though. Can he help the goaltending? Is what he does help the goaltenders be better? And I would say he might be able to help their overall play. Mm-hmm. If it doesn't help the goalies, then they're still going to have issues.
We might be seeing the Vegas Golden Knights against the Oilers in the first round of the playoffs in a few weeks here. A couple of updates from Vegas today. So Tortorella did not do the morning skate. He was not on the ice. He did hold his availability just a few minutes ago. No lineup changes for the Golden Knights. And then Aiden Hill, you want to talk about goaltending? He skated with Sean Burke on the other side of the practice facility that the Golden Knights have in Summerlin. So this is what Ken Belkey said from Sinbin Vegas. Aiden Hill skated with Sean Burke on the second sheet of ice prior to the morning skate. He then stood with the entire group for a pre-skate chat with John Stevens. He left the ice as morning skate began, and Akira Schmid and Carter Hart are the goalies at the morning skate. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. And then 20 minutes ago, like I said, Tortorella held his availability, not taking the morning skate, not going on the ice, said he is not planning on making many changes at all with the short runway. And that's the other thing, too. They just gave him till the end of the year as his contract.
Right. So he's just trying to get more out of them.
All right. Now, in regard to that, Belkey also, Ken was I was texting with Ken last night. I'm like, boy, you are just shredding. He goes, this is ridiculous. So Ken had this post earlier. One of the most common refrains about the reasoning behind bringing in John Tortorella is that he gets the most out of his teams quickly. History remembers it differently. Tortorella's first 10 games with new team. Philadelphia, 5-5, missed the playoffs. Columbus, 2-8, missed the playoffs. Vancouver, 5-4-1, missed playoffs. New York, the first time, 6-3-1, first round lost in 7. Tampa, 1-9, missed the playoffs. They would obviously go and win Stanley Cup with Tampa after that. Right. New York, 0-3-1, missed playoffs. Combined in his first 10 games with the new team when he takes over, 19-32-2. And in only one of those seasons did his team make the playoffs.
Right. But 2-time coach of the year, won the cup. Wasn't he just on the American Olympic team staff?
He certainly was.
I mean, there's something to it.
There's a reason why he gets hired.
There's a reason he keeps getting jobs.
Yeah.
There's clearly enough there that he's respected and knows, can get a lot out of the team. But this is what we see. Vegas has become one of the teams where they never stand pat.
No.
Right? I mean, is this now their fourth coach?
Yep. And they've been in the league 9
Cassidy was
seasons.
there a while, relatively speaking. Compared to
I think
the first
Bruce
2.
Cassidy was the longest tenured coach in Golden Knights history because Gallant took him to the Cup final.
And then didn't he only last one more year or a year and a half?
Yeah,
or something?
and then DeBoer was there for a couple, and then he was scuttled out of there, and then they made Cassidy the coach, and I think he lasted 4 seasons because he won the Cup his first year, right?
Because he left Boston the previous year.
Yeah. And
so he was coming up on the end of his 4th season.
Yeah, so he's the longest tenured. They're cutthroat in Vegas.
Yes.
George McPhee, Kelly McCrimmon.
Yeah.
And you saying, I've done my job, like if Kelly McCrimmon's looking at the roster going, I've done my job to give you good players, it seems like it's always the coach that gets gas there, and they turn and burn players like crazy.
Yeah.
How many? Nick Suzuki might have a 100-point season, and they traded him for Pacioretty. Like it's turn and burn.
Yeah, they just keep hammering away. And I mean, they've only missed. And didn't the year they missed the playoffs? Didn't they still have 90-some points?
They were close. It was the year
look it up.
after. No, it was the year before they won the Cup.
They won the Cup.
That's right.
So they had. When they missed the playoffs, they had 94 points. They were 43-31-8. And that would have been, I think, still DeBoer. Yeah, then they won the Cup. Then they lost in the first round to the Stars, and then lost to Edmonton last year in the second round. Yeah, they've never had less than. Oh no, that's not true. Oh, that was the shortened year. Sorry, the 71-game season.
Yeah. Well, they were fighting with Edmonton for first in the Pacific at that time.
Oh, right, because they're one of the teams that got that bye for the play in the seeding round.
That's right. Larzy via the nasty chat says, where does Tort stay in Vegas? Caesars, Bellagio, Wynn? Oddly enough, Larzy, I know this.
What?
They stay at the Red Rock Casino in Summerlin by the practice facility.
That's where the coaches live?
Yeah, it's really nice. Well, that's where they temporary players that are called up or
interesting.
That they just bring in. They would have them set up at the Red Rock Casino.
Oh, that is neat that you know that, Tom.
It's very strange. It's obscure and it's because it's right by the arena. All right, we're inside the Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen studio. You got Gazzola, you got Wilkins. Take advantage of the $4 faves. Reed loves the mini crispy chicken sandwiches. And you like the wraps, or do you love the wraps?
I don't even know if I've had a wrap.
They're great.
I like the sandwiches.
The nugs,
big and little. I really like those blackened cauliflowers.
Those are really good.
That'd be one of the higher ones up there for me. Yeah, absolutely.
The nuggets are great. Blackened ranch is my go-to sauce for the nuggets. Of course, you can get the $4 fries, and they also have the mini combos right now. So for $5.49, you get a beverage, a little thing of fries, and then either the wrap or the sandwich for $5.49. So that's a pretty good deal. Then they have the big sauce combo. You get the 3 big strips of chicken, little thing of fries, and the dipping sauce for $9.99. So go check out Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen today. Always great. My go-to meal, I always say it, is the classic sandwich. I try to go for the spicy mayo, and I get mac and cheese with a cherry Coke. Boom.
Well, they have cherry Coke there?
They have cherry Coke.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that very much. All right. Before the Oilers get to John Tortorella's Vegas Golden Knights on Saturday, they have the Blackhawks Thursday, and then tomorrow night, it's the Seattle Kraken. What's to say this can't turn into a 5 or 6 game winning streak.
Well, nothing if they keep playing the way they've been playing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, patient, good balance with the lines. The ice time was pretty.
It was pretty
evenly. Lazar was the only guy under 10 minutes.
Yep.
But Knobloch said after the game that he thought for a lot of the game that Henrique, Jones, and Lazar was their best line, and they did have some good pressure. Jones was on the ice halfway through the line change there when McDavid scored, so good for him.
What'd you think of that goal? Because it was like McDavid just shot it.
Yeah, it was like Jones was going to shoot it, and Connor said, "No, I'll just put it in."
Yeah.
At first, I wasn't sure, or if maybe Connor hit it and it hit Jones' stick on the way in, but hey, it went in. I don't think Jones cared.
No,
he was probably like, "Yeah, it is better if you shot it." But
it is.
I just hope, you know, we've seen this before. Tantalizing little stretches, though. I will say, I think this. I talked earlier about the patience and the composure, so I do think this feels a little different than when they've played well earlier in the season. But you know, Seattle is a team they should beat. They'd like to beat. You know, try to break their spirit a little bit. They've generally been pretty good against the Kraken.
Yes, they have.
I mean, they beat them 9-4. Sorry, 9-4 at Rogers Place earlier this season. Almost got to 10 for the first time since '96. What's that?
Against the Calgary Flames?
Game we keep talking about.
Yeah.
So I just hope to see them play a patient game, check, be good on the PK, and not worrying about, oh my God, we got to score now. We got to win the game in the next 5 minutes. Like, I thought that Anaheim game was a good example. 1-0 after 2. Yes, they should have been up more if it was all fair, but they weren't. Then they got those 2 quick goals to really take control of the game before Anaheim rallied a little bit. And just how they scored too, right? I mean, it wasn't necessarily super fancy hockey. I mean, the forecheck, work on it. Puck comes to the front of the net. McDavid flips it in.
Yep.
Podkolzin and Savoie. I mean, that's a relatively simple play. Like, get it through the neutral zone, drive wide, have a guy going hard to the net, hit him on the tape. Who scored this? I'm forgetting the second goal. Who got the second goal?
Savoie.
The Roslovic. But
sorry.
Even that one was just sort of relentless pressure. Like, because of all the shots they had in that game, that wasn't one of the more dangerous ones, but you got to Stahl moving around, trying to find the puck, find the rebound.
Yeah.
And Roslovic, I think he slid it kind of underneath the pads.
Nice tuck. That was a goal scorer's goal, 20th of the season.
Right. Good for him. I didn't see that coming. Well, there's a good example. A guy who came to Edmonton and is doing well on a cheap contract.
Yeah.
So, yeah, just keep up that pace, keep up that balance, keep up that level of responsible play. I mean, they weren't caught out of position too much or given away too much. Murphy and Nurse have been very good together, so that's nice to see. But you got to keep the momentum going. I mean, don't come out and lay an egg or 2 eggs in a row, because then again, it's like, well, here they go back into it again.
All that goodwill they built up last week goes out the door if they lay an egg. All right, let's get to the numbers game. Coop, if you can throw that up there. I know Dusty usually does it, but the numbers game brought to you by Play Alberta. When you play in Alberta, guess what? It stays in Alberta. Safe and secure. The revenue generated from Play Alberta is redirected into Alberta's General Revenue Fund, which is used to support programs and services that Albertans rely on every day. Of course, if you're going to put a little sprinkle down over at Play Alberta, be sure to use your game sense and hit the EST specials page. I jumped on the grandest parlay today. We need a win, guys. We need a win. You go Jokerit, evidently.
Who's Jokerit playing?
I didn't see. I just went with the Discord with the grandest.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Yep. Okay. So Edmonton with that win on Saturday in regulation.
Yeah.
Best case scenario, they reel in the Ducks to within 3 points. The Ducks are in Toronto tonight, by the way. And Gudas is expected to play, it looks like, and he wants to answer.
He says he's going to answer the bell.
So somebody's going to go looking for him, obviously, very early. I'd like to watch that.
It's in Anaheim, is that what you said?
I thought it was in Toronto. Maybe.
No, it's because the other game was in Toronto.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
Then it's in Anaheim, but
so
they'll
just play each other twice a year, Tom.
Just
in the different conferences.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah. Gudas is going to fight.
He'll fight.
He knows he has to fight.
Great. And then he'll probably be out for the rest of the season if he's that injured. Anyway, I'm just joking.
That would not be good for the Ducks.
So the Oilers get Seattle tomorrow,
Yeah.
Chicago on Thursday,
Yeah.
Vegas Golden Knights on Saturday, we said it, all winnable games. And even next week's schedule doesn't look too daunting. You get back-to-backs with Utah and San Jose, and then you wrap it up in LA on Saturday. What is your... I know there are like equations and probabilities out there, but...
There sure are, Tom.
There sure are. Your own equation and probability for the Oilers to actually win the division after what they did last week.
Oh, to win the division?
Yes.
3
points back.
I still think that that's below 50%.
Okay.
Because of the 3-point lead for Anaheim and because they have a game in hand.
Correct.
So I think of making the playoffs, I think it's now 100%.
Yes.
I was looking on some websites this morning. They all have the Oilers at 97%.
That's
I'm
pretty
going
good.
to say 100% to make the playoffs. I'm going to say probably 90% to finish second, maybe even higher. I'm going to say maybe 20% to finish first. They don't play Anaheim again.
No.
Anaheim has a 3-point advantage. Anaheim has a game in hand. So this is the way I look at it. If the Oilers were to go undefeated, they would rack up another 16 points to get to 99, right? The Ducks would only need 13 points to get to 99, and they have 18 points available. So they'd still have to go 6-2-1.
Yeah.
But if you look at it, well, what if the Oilers go 6-2, which is still good? Then they only get to 95. Then the Ducks only have to play 500.
Yep.
To finish ahead of the Oilers. So I'm gonna give the Oilers a 20% chance of finishing first. I still think it's low. I mean, Anaheim's got an extremely winnable game tonight.
Well, let me give you their
the Leafs,
schedule.
aren't good. Okay.
San Jose on Wednesday, St. Louis on Friday, Calgary on Saturday. Then they're back at it against Nashville next Tuesday, San Jose again next Thursday, Vancouver next Sunday, and then they wind up the regular season with the Wild on Tuesday the 14th and the Predators Thursday the 16th.
So let's say the Ducks go even 5-4. That gives them another 10 points. So they get to 96.
Yeah.
Right? So then the Oilers would need 14 points, so they'd have to go 7-1. Possible, but I'm just saying mathematically probably unlikely.
I'll go like 25% just on gut, if you will.
Well, you got a good gut.
Thanks, baby. And maybe the Sharks give them a run for their money. Maybe Nashville's still in the mix. They play them twice, and maybe the Preds surprise them. They're going to have a tough go probably against Minnesota that second last game. And if they blow one of these games to St. Louis or Calgary,
right,
that could be tough as well. And they have that back-to-back scenario Friday, Saturday. So I'll give the Oilers a 25% chance of winning the division, and would be the first time since 1987.
It's been a while, Tom.
It's been a while. It was a year.
You weren't even born.
I was a year old.
You're a little 1-year-old baby.
I was in diapers. Yeah, that was a while ago. Mex says over at Money Puck, they have a 13% chance. We were going with our gut, but I know that there were those equations and stuff. But it's interesting. Timber Woodsman says, talk about the Ducks. What's going to happen with Gudas tonight versus Leafs? He's going to fight.
And who's he fighting again?
Do we think it's going to be Pizzetta?
Well, that's what you were saying.
Yeah, like you look at the Leafs lineup, and who like really comes to mind that will step up and fight Radko Gudas? Who's tough? Like Gudas is tough.
Yeah, he's crazy.
Okay. They called up this Bo Gruel guy.
Okay.
And Gruel,
I don't know much about him.
Yeah. I don't think he's a fighter. Is he a fighter? All leagues. Let's see. Nope. Doesn't look like it. What? Is like Steven Lorentz going to fight him? No. Pizzetta. Jacob Quillen. What's Quillen's deal? Jacob Quillen. No, I don't think so. So yeah, I guess it would have to be Pizzetta. Who else is going to go after him?
Nobody.
Exactly. But he says he'll be there to answer. If you were Radko Gudas and you're facing the Leafs after everything that happened a couple weeks ago, you're going, yeah, I'll play. And you're going, okay, which one of you wants it?
Right.
You're not scared.
No, he's not scared. He's fine.
Yeah, exactly.
He's fine.
He'll be just fine. All right, Coop, what's coming up on ESD Afternoons?
Oh, so much coming up, Tom. We'll get into the Oilers' 3-game win streak as well. Dive a bit into the game against Anaheim. We'll also recap the Japanese Grand Prix with Kimi Antonelli taking it all. Go to March Madness as well with heartbreak for Duke. We'll connect with Shayna Goldman to chat a bit about the Golden Knights' decision to hire John Tortorella. And we'll also bring in Flaming Guy.
I know him.
Flaming, the Oil Kings color analyst, to dive into the first 2 games of the Oil Kings Blades Round 1 series in the WHL playoffs.
Excellent. All right, looking forward to that. Somebody said Dakota Joshua would be the guy. Yeah, maybe. Joshua, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's tough.
Sure, he can do it. We'll see. That'll be in the Ducks Leafs game later on today. That's another great edition of the Oil Stream presented by Boston Pizza. Thank you to everybody who watched over on YouTube. We hit 7 million views on YouTube in less than 3 years.
Man, it's awesome.
And we went from 6 million to 7 million very quickly. We look to continue to build that up, and we appreciate it. Can't do it without you, obviously. To those who listen on iHeartRadio and TuneIn Radio, thank you so much. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Coming up next, it is ESD Afternoons. For Reed Wilkins, I'm Tom Gazzola saying enjoy the rest of your Monday. We'll talk to you later.